Well, my name is J.R. Black, and I'm the chairman of the Kankakee River Basin Commission. I'm also the executive director of the Northern Illinois Anglers. Well, what we see as the number one problem is a sand bed load that is entering the system and destroying our waterway. This all started back in 1850 when the federal government ceded the marshlands to the states that they lied within, and Indiana chose to use their area for agriculture land, and they drained the Grand Marsh. And as a result, we knew before they got it drained, there's going to be problems downstream.
A couple of things we found out. Most of this sediment is sand. And when I started to talk with the local people in that area, many of them say, oh yeah, we see it every year. A-C-K-E. My name is Nani J. Bhomik. Now I am a retired principal scientist at the Illinois State Water Survey. Every time you drive on Interstate 57, both sides of Interstate 57, on the 6 Mile Pool, there is a significant amount of sediment deposition. If you go to the confluence of the Kankakee and the Iroquois upstream of the 6 Mile Pool and take a small plane and fly over, you will distinctly see the dirty water from the Iroquois coming in and going to the 6 Mile Pool.
When I first started the canoe trips and when I was a teenager and stuff on the river, there was absolutely no sand below the dam out by the state park, along the shoreline or anything. And now there's areas where you can go out there and 10, 15 feet into the water and out of the water is a foot or two of sand.
Our own water supplier, Aqua Illinois, their intake was placed on the bottom of the river some 50 to 60 years ago. They recently had to raise that pipe. It was totally covered with sand.
I'm Kevin Culver. I'm the Midwest Environmental Compliance Manager for Aqua Illinois. So one of the issues with the sand coming down the river, beginning probably 10, 12 years ago, we started having to clean around the deep intake because the sand was accumulating around it. The Kankakee River as a whole has increased in volume, doubled since 1950. So you can see that flow has actually doubled. So from about 3,000 CFS to the average now is about 6,000 CFS. 6,000 CFS is roughly 4 billion gallons a day.
Coming in over the west side now. The west route.
Not that it never flooded before, we've had this much, but now they're going to be more frequent. And be honest with you, to my knowledge, we haven't had a major massive flood since about 1957 in this area. But if we have one like that, it's going to be serious, dangerous, a lot of property damage.
I've seen whole islands that had trees on them totally disappear in a high water state, you know, take down 3-4 foot diameter trees and just the whole island's gone.
In a study that we conducted in 2005, we found within our floodplains there's about $1 billion worth of structures, and as the river fills in, these structures are susceptible to damage.
I mean, our economy, as I said before, depends on this. If we lose this and we lose our economy, it's history for us.
40 seconds, drivers, 40 seconds. The always dangerous Miami man behind him, the 42 of Sean Corrected. 30 seconds, drivers, 30 seconds. And then it's 17 of Brian Benton. 20 seconds, drivers, we're under starters orders. The flag is up.
The Kankakee River, in a lot of aspects, is still a sleeping giant for growth and development in our community. My name is Mike Van Mill. I'm President and CEO of the Economic Alliance of Kankakee County. The Economic Alliance partnered with the Community Foundation of the Kankakee River Valley. Everybody in our community at one time or another has said that the Kankakee River is our biggest asset. We have over 8 million people in the northeastern Illinois and northwest Indiana that we certainly can attract down here to take advantage of our natural resource, from boating to sightseeing to fishing in areas of lodges, expand the interests of our communities that are along the river, to make the river a more attractive asset, to bring people down and visit these towns and spend money in the towns as well.
We need to buy time, and we need to do something. The ideal solution would be to allow the Kankakee River in Indiana to go back to its normal pattern, to let Mother Nature take over. But you must understand, this is why it's controversial. There are farmers in Indiana that have poured their whole life into their farms, and they don't want to give up those farms, and I can readily understand that.
We need to slow down the sand sediment coming into the Kankakee River before we worry about trying to get it out.
There are some projects in Indiana right now that are very good ones. They're trying to develop parts of the old Grand Marsh and slow down the speed of the flow coming here.
They got to start doing something. They got to find a way. They got to find a use for the sand so it doesn't cost so much. It can offset the cost by selling the sand once they get it.
Remove some of the sediment, and I suspect it will enhance the ecosystem as a whole. Man, woman, and human will benefit, animals will benefit, biota will benefit, fish will benefit. So it had to be totality of the system.
All of them come back and say the same thing. We got a serious problem and we need to address this. Every study comes back and says the same thing. We got a serious problem, we need to address this. But we're still standing here today waiting on action.